Hi, friends. Come over to the Insight Timer app to be part of our live experience. Love you. Hmm. Welcome. Hmm. Hi, Jason. Oh, I feel like we haven't been together in so long, other than in our group. Great to see you. I loved your post about the sunrise. Beautiful. Thank you. Hi, Susan. Hi, Belle. Oh, wonderful to be together, friends. We'll wait maybe about a minute before we begin. Mm. We can do our little sound test now. How's our sound? How's our visual? Yes, long time, Belle. Wonderful to have you here with us. Okay, great. Thanks, Susan. Mm. As a reminder, if you are not on the Insight Timer app, come on over to Insight Timer to join us for this community experience. Hi, Jesse. Great, thank you. Hi, Judy. All right, wonderful. Let us begin. Well, for anyone that I'm getting to meet for the first time, my name is Selena Leal. I lead live sessions each week on the app, generally one meditation or talk, and then a vinyasa yoga practice. I have many recordings that range in topics. I have a course, 10-day course, Yogic Practices for a Peaceful Life. And we have a group. The group on the app is called Love Heals All, and all are welcome. Hi, Siska. Oh, Belle. Blessings. Blessings. I'm grateful to be together with you in your healing journey. Hi, Liz. Today we're going to have a meditation experience together to help to mm, awaken the imagination, cultivate greater creativity, inspiration, something to look forward to. It's interesting to notice that often when we go through periods of depression, unless it's something really chemical based in the physiology, it's usually a time when we don't feel we have something to look forward to. There's a sense of disconnect from life, among other things, and this feeling of there's nothing to look forward to. And everything could be great in our lives, and we still might have these feelings arise. So, this meditation is also a wonderful way to mm, to access this part of us that is able to to feel inspired, to live, to engage with life, to open, to be open. We're going to use the power of visualization and creativity. And of course, if visualization doesn't come easily for you, or if it's just difficult altogether, no issue. You can always just focus on the sensations in the body. And maybe today we'll do a little visualization exercise before we move into the meditation for anyone who has difficulty visualizing. Awesome, Angela. So wonderful to be with you here as well. Oh, so wonderful. I love that. Love that. Hi, Michelle. Oh, so grateful to be together, everyone. All right. Well, let's find a comfortable seated position. And of course, if that isn't an option for you, if you're lying down, find a comfortable position lying down. Hi, Tom. Oh, I love you all so. Friends, I would love to receive your feedback, and of course, it's just going to be different for each of us. But as I'm in Hawaii, it's difficult. For example, our European community and much of our Eastern community, they're in bed, they're asleep at this time, or the earlier times that I offer as well. And so I'm always trying to figure out what times are best for our global community, and I don't feel like I've really found them yet. But if you ever want to just send me a DM with some suggestions, I know I'm opening myself for a can of worms here, but if you want to send me a DM with time suggestions, or maybe we should even do it. I missed you too, Michelle. I really missed being together. It's really sweet to be back. Maybe rather than DMs, it would be more effective for us to do it in a group platform so that we have people's group consensus. So, if you are not part of our group, Love Heals All, I invite you to join us in the group. And maybe I'll offer some questions there for time options, or people can just suggest, hi, Sandy, time options. Thanks, Jason. And we can look and see if there are times that might work better for our global community. Maybe we'll stay with the same times we've been meeting at, maybe not. We'll see. Okay, so find your comfortable position. And we're going to start with a little exercise to help to develop the part of the brain or the mind that allows us to visualize. For some of us, we can't see anything when we try to visualize. We just have sensations or we see variations of color or light, and that's perfectly okay. But this is a great technique to help us to develop that if that's possible for our physiology. Yeah, great. All right. So let's start with just choose one object to focus on. Like I have a glass of water here, or I have a water here. I have the remote for the camera. Just choose one object that you can see up close and personal. And then start to study it with your eyes. So you're really looking at it. You don't need to hold it. You're welcome to. And look at it, look at the different colors. Start to memorize what it looks like, the shape, the different everything. Just start to remember all of the details. And I have a lot of details to remember here. Start to really set the details of what you're looking at in your awareness, in your mind. And remember to keep breathing. And now close your eyes and see if you can conjure the image of what you were just looking at. Maybe you see it clear as day. Maybe you can kind of see one little part of what you were just looking at. Great. I'm going to open the eyes. We'll do this with one other thing. So I invite you to kind of look around the space that you're in. And you can look around just part of the space that you're in, or maybe the whole space. Might be easier just to kind of focus on one direction. Just look around though. What do you see? What colors do you see? What shapes? What objects do you see? I see a plant. I see curtains. I see a painting. I see a wall. I see a ceiling. Start to remember all of the details with your eyes open. And now close the eyes and see if you can conjure the image of what you were just looking at. With the eyes closed, can you remember what you were seeing? Do those images come to mind? Great. And now open the eyes. So, for anyone who's maybe who feels that visualization doesn't come easily for you, go ahead and share in the chat if anyone is here like that. If you were able to conjure those images a little easier after committing them to memory as best as you could. Would just love to hear if anyone found that to be a little bit of an easier experience visualizing. Don't worry about my words today. I can't speak for some reason. I don't know if Mercury is in retrograde. Always blame it on Mercury. Not really, though. I'm not. Okay, Jason said easier. Great. I don't feel like I'm speaking very coherently, so we'll just be together because that's the best part about this time. It's our time to be together in love. It's not always about the words, right? It's about the presence, the energy, the togetherness. Okay, great. Well, I'm glad it was easier for you, Jason. Let us now move into our meditation. So, for anyone who has difficulty visualizing, this is a great technique to practice on a regular basis to start to be able to conjure those images when you're actually just accessing imagination. And often, when we use imagination, we are also accessing images from memory. So, this can help all around. All right. Welcome to those of you who are just joining. We are going to move into our meditation experience now. So find your comfortable position. And if you are able to sit up as opposed to lie down, I invite that as a way to be more alert, more present during this experience. Hi, Diane. Love you. Love you all. Diane and I had a little battle about who loves the other most the other day. Such a funny thing that we have in some of our cultures, the love you more thing, right? It's like, oh, I love you the most. Okay, so let's see here. I just want to get this mic a little closer to my face. Uh, can you all hear me well? I'll just do one little last sound test before I move into the experience. I'm speaking a little more quietly. Are you able to hear me clearly with enough volume? Is the sound clear for you? Check 1, 2. Okay, great. Thank you, friends. Okay, so let us move into our experience. I invite you to close the eyes. Take a slow, deep breath in. Exhale through the mouth. Roll your shoulders up and back a few times. Let this feel good, not just in the shoulders, but even in the spine. Relax the shoulders back and down so there's some space across the chest. You can rest the hands with the palms facing upward if that's comfortable on the thighs. If you're in a chair, feel your feet on the floor connected to the earth, or maybe your feet are tucked underneath you. The crown of the head lifts up toward the sky. The chin is slightly tucked so the energy can move freely up and down the spine. Allow there to be a slight space between the teeth. The lips are soft. Feel the small muscles around the eyes and the mouth softening. The forehead relaxes. Inhale slowly, feel the belly and chest expanding. Exhale through the mouth, let out a sigh. Feel your shoulders dropping down. Inhale. Exhale. One more breath like this, sighing on the exhalation. And now find a natural rhythm with the breath. This easy flow in and out, maybe with an emphasis on the breath being a little deeper than usual. Maybe the exhalations are a little longer than the inhalations. Feel your hips sinking down, your legs growing heavier, your feet heavy and relaxed. And for these next few moments, follow the sensations of the breath moving in and out. And bring your awareness to the heart center. The eyes are closed. The gaze is inward as you sense this space of the heart in the center of the chest. This beautiful heart that keeps loving and keeps opening, even though it may be told to do otherwise by the mind. This heart that can always align us with truth, can always align us with healing, can always align us with our highest good. Breathe into the heart. Feel yourself sinking deeper within, sinking below the mind, maybe even deeper than the physical sensations, where there is this space inside your center, your core, your sacred space, however you might like to think of it. This beautiful space deep within you. Imagine, feel that this space is the womb, the seed, the embodiment of all of your highest qualities: peace, joy, love, compassion, patience, kindness, inspiration, empowerment. All of these qualities of your highest good, perfectly aligned, reside within your center. They are not something you need to find outside of you. You already have everything you need. You are the home of all of your desires. You are the home of everything beautiful and good that you long to experience. There is a magnificent presence and love and light and aliveness that resides within you. It is always here, even when you feel like everything is dark, or you feel confused, or you're upset. This space is always here, always. Take a deep breath and really dive into these qualities. See if you can feel them, allow them to start to rise to the surface. Your most aligned self, this version of you that is in total alignment with your highest good, total clarity, power, love, the embodiment of peace. Feel this rising from within you. And imagine that there is this version of you being birthed in this moment that is manifesting, standing across from you. Total alignment with your highest good. This version of you knows exactly what you need, knows how to take care of you, knows what steps to take to bring your dreams to fruition or welcome healing in your life. This version of you knows exactly what you need. Start to imagine how good it would feel to live from this place within you every day. How good would it feel to live in the peace and freedom of knowing exactly what you need and what steps to take? How relaxed could you be? How good would it feel to trust in the flow of life or to feel the flow of passion and joy from within your center move out into your life experience? How good would that feel to let yourself live that way? And this is not about comparing to how you feel now or what has been. That is all just as it is. We don't need to shame ourselves or beat ourselves up for not feeling different or not feeling happy. We go through cycles in our lives. We go through seasons of different feelings and experiences, and none of them are bad or wrong. They may be uncomfortable, but you are not bad or wrong for where you are. It is an experience. So take a breath and really give your full attention to imagining, feeling this version of you that is in total alignment, an embodiment of joy, an embodiment of love, an embodiment of confidence and power and passion. See yourself, feel it. And imagine being this version of you waking up tomorrow. See it in your mind or feel it in your body. It's tomorrow morning, and you are waking up as this version of yourself that is totally in alignment with life. How good do you feel as you open your eyes and you yawn and you stretch? What inspiration and gratitude do you feel to be alive when you are this at peace? Imagine how you would move through your morning routines. Would you be dancing or jumping or laughing at yourself for ever taking yourself so seriously? Maybe you'd be shaking your booty while you brush your teeth, or first thing going and hugging the person that you love the most. Maybe you'd wrap your arms around yourself and say, God, I am so grateful to be alive. Thank you for this day. See in your mind, feel in your body what it would be like to move through your morning as this version. And remember, this isn't about what has been. This is you creating something totally new, totally fresh for your life right now. You are rewiring your brain. You are retraining your mind right now. Breathe deeply. How would you interact with the people in your life if you were this embodiment of peace and compassion? How would it feel to interact with the people in your life, whether you live with others or you talk to them on the phone or you work with people? How different would your relationships be when you are so settled in your center? See it, feel it, smile about it. When you are in this version of yourself, embodying this version of you, there is an openness in the heart. And we all know that when we are truly in our heart, the world looks different. When we're in love, the flowers look brighter, the smells are more blissful, the sky is more beautiful. When we look at our beloved, we've never seen something so beautiful, and that is because the heart is allowing life. And there are so many ways we can be in love. So as you continue to imagine your life from this place, see it through the eyes of love. What becomes possible when you see your life through the eyes of love? Imagine engaging in your responsibilities, your work life, or taking care of your family or home, different projects or hobbies. How much more connected would you feel, inspired, even grateful to have something to do? Open your mind, see through the eyes of your heart, think with your heart, love with your mind, and see your life anew. For these next few moments, I invite you to imagine your life maybe 1 month from now, or 1 year from now, or maybe even 5 years from now. Imagine how beautifully your life will unfold when you live from this place. Imagine the possibilities of abundance and love and intimacy and pleasure and play. Imagine all of these experiences that arise, that become available to you when you live from this place, and see them as if they are happening. Imagine your life in a year with all of these wonderful things because you've been living from your heart and see them in detail. Feel it, see it, breathe it. Let it feel good. Right now, you are establishing future memories, seeds planted in this exquisite creation. Linear time does not exist, so reach into your own future and plant these seeds. See yourself enjoying your life, feeling grateful, feeling connected, deeply connected to yourself and others. See relationships healed. See yourself in vibrant vitality, health, dreams coming to fruition, peace, peace permeating every particle of your being. Each time you bring your mind and your feelings back to these future memories, you are watering the seeds that will inevitably grow each time you give them energy. So, with your awareness that you are already nurturing your garden of your life, slowly become aware of your body in this moment in time, connected to every beautiful thing you are creating for yourself. And again, imagine or feel this version of you so vibrant and alive and grateful standing across from you, the most alive and passionate and joyful and peaceful you've ever known yourself to be. And now see this version of you, feel it merging with you right now in this moment, becoming one, completely merging. You are the embodiment of all of these qualities right here and now. Breathe that in. Feels good. Place your hands over your heart and be so, so grateful to your beloved self. Every part of you, not just the parts that are happy or nice or aligned, but every part of you. Be so grateful to your whole self for this exquisite life experience, this tender experience of being human and experiencing all of the pains and all of the joys. Be so grateful for all of it, for you. Start to deepen the breath. Slowly move the body. And stretch if that feels good. Maybe open the arms, open the chest, open and close the mouth, release the jaw. Move the head and the spine if possible. Take a deep breath in. Exhale through the mouth. And whenever you feel ready, take your time. Open the eyes. And with the eyes open, see the world around you through the eyes of this embodied self. See through the eyes of love. See through the eyes of possibility and the beauty of your own innermost self. Mm. And look around your space. See through these eyes and notice if things look any different in your environment, if you relate to what you see any differently, and be so grateful, so grateful. Mm. Thank you. So we have a little time to connect if anyone would like to share anything. I would love to hear maybe something that you envision for yourself in your life, something that you could see about yourself, maybe anything you wish to share. Would love to hear about your experience. And of course, if this was difficult for anyone, um, first of all, that's just natural for many reasons. One, visualization. Two, because sometimes we're, in one of those more uncomfortable or painful places where it feels difficult to access this kind of energy and imagination. So if it was difficult, that's okay. If you have any questions, I'm more than happy to answer any questions. Hmm. Mm. Oh, I love that. Susan shared that was really helpful. I envisioned the possibility of working part time and helping others with the added time. Lovely. Seva, selfless service is definitely a path to freedom and to just the beauty of life. mm. Jelia, yeah, emotional and beautiful. Yeah. Thank you, Lynn. Um, Victoria shared practical feedback for when you feel really hopeless and depressed and the mind is looping. Are you sharing that that was your experience, Victoria, or are you sharing that that's what you are looking for? Happy to answer if that was both. Okay. Well, fantastic that you started to feel some shift from the meditation. And I just want to say a side note, thank you all so much for your donations. Thank you for your support. I'm so grateful. And for anyone who's newer to the app, part of the donation goes to me and my life and being able to support myself. And part also goes to Insight Timer so that we can continue having this amazing platform to connect through. So deep gratitude for your generosity and offering in that way. And okay, coming back to Victoria. So the question is looking for practical feedback. I understand it was both. I'm just addressing it now as a question. Practical feedback for when you feel really hopeless and depressed and the mind is looping. Okay, well, the first thing to recognize, and we could go on here, so I'll do my best to keep this a little more concise, is there's a a correlation between the mind and the emotions. We have a thought, and the thought will conjure an emotion. So let's say I have a thought, um, and this is actually something many of us do often. I know that when I get into a funk, this is something I catch myself. I'm like, oh, I'm doing it again. But I have the thought, I don't feel good. It might just be, maybe it's a physical thing. Maybe I have some physical pain. I'm like, oh, my hip really, really hurts. Or maybe it's just a generalized depressed feeling. Oh, I just feel so awful. Or maybe it's an emotional feeling and I'm just like, oh, I just don't feel good. The more I focus on the thought, whatever it's connected to, of I don't feel good, the more it is going to bring up the emotions that for me connect to that thought of I don't feel good. So for some of us, I don't feel good might bring emotional experiences of sadness, of despair. It might be bring up emotional responses of frustration or anger. And then as that emotion arises, now I have this this fuel to my thought. So it actually propels even more thoughts that are related to the emotion because there's this natural tendency as an emotion arises. Uh, there are different reasons as to why this happens, but emotion arises and the mind might say, why do I feel this way? And because the mind is so brilliant, it makes up stories constantly. Our minds are making up stories all day long. Someone looked at me a certain way. Oh, they don't like me. I just made up a total story in my mind. Someone did this, someone did that. We make up stories constantly without realizing that we are great authors. Maybe not great all the time, but we're all authors. Yes, we're all writers. And we make up these stories not questioning them. We believe them. And probably 90% of the time, they're absolute nonsense, but we don't question the thoughts. This is the basis of Byron Katie's work, if you're familiar with wonderful, wonderful, wonderful Byron Katie. So there's this loop that occurs. The mind says, well, why do I feel this way? Why do I feel this despair? I don't feel good today. It conjures up the despair. And then I say, well, why do I feel this despair? And the mind does what it does. It will look for a plausible reason. All right, well, I must be feeling this despair because I'm all alone. I must be feeling this despair because my boyfriend broke up with me. I must be feeling this despair because I don't like my job. The mind will grab onto thoughts that seem to make sense and connect them to the emotion as and giving us the reason as to why we feel upset. But it's not usually the case. That's where it's tricky. It's not usually accurate. What do I mean by that? I mean, my mind says, let's see if I can think of a personal example. So I've this last year has been a really deep internal year of just purging for me, just a lot of deep feels and dark nights of the soul and all that wonderful goodness. It's been intense. And there have been different periods over the last year. I moved and I didn't really have a community developed. And I would go through these feelings of whatever it might have been, some kind of pain or despair or depression. And my mind again and again would grab onto the story that I was feeling that way because I felt alone or because I felt I didn't have community. Now, although there is some reality to that, it wasn't actually the root cause. It was just a thought that helped my mind accept or felt like it was more in control because it could understand why I might be feeling that way. But it didn't make me feel any better. Who here has noticed that when your mind goes into the analyzation mode of why do I feel this way, it comes up with a story. Rarely does that story make you feel good. If anything, it makes you think of more reasons why you should feel miserable. So we've got to get out of the loop. And one of the first things to do is to consider that it might not be true and that it's probably not true. It's probably not true. Whatever story we're telling ourselves, it's probably not true. And in Byron Katie's work, we could kind of say it's really not true, period, because it's all perception. Now, just because something may or may not be true in the mind doesn't mean that what we're feeling doesn't feel very real, right? It doesn't mean that, okay, well, maybe my story about hating my job isn't the reason I'm actually feeling this way. And just to give a little more backstory here, or a little more a different perspective, all emotional experiences are within us. I can't put joy in you. I can't put peace in you. I can't put rage in you. That is within you. That's a feeling within you that gets triggered by something outside. It was already in you. Someone doesn't make you mad. Someone shows you the anger you already have inside. Someone doesn't make you sad. Someone shows you the sadness that is already in you. Now, that doesn't mean that sometimes people are jerks or not jerks or whatever. It doesn't mean that we don't have room to grow, but it's the awareness that the emotion is here. It's not because of someone else. And within that, we can also recognize that many of our emotional responses are rooted in very old things, childhood wounding, different experiences that we've had throughout our lives that we haven't found a completion with of healing. And so that emotion, that emotional response, that emotional trigger is just kind of ready and waiting. So let's say, forgive me, I guess I'm going really on the full tangent with this one because it's not a simple topic. It's a very broad topic. And I just want to catch at least the main bullet points here. Sometimes it has nothing to do with our childhood wounding, and it has nothing to do with what someone did. And our emotional response is because we ate too much sugar, or we stayed up too late, or our hormones are doing something in our bodies. Sometimes our emotional responses are just about what's happening in our physiology and how we're taking care of ourselves. There are so many reasons. So, again, coming all the way full circle, start to question the stories you're telling yourself, or at least become aware ah, I'm telling myself a story right now. I think I know why I'm feeling this way, but it might not be true. And when I think about this, it actually makes me feel worse. Analyzing this doesn't actually feel like it's helping me. It's actually spiraling me out a little more. Sometimes it's very helpful to have an intellectual understanding of why we're experiencing something or why we think we are. It can help us in the healing process, but quite often it just gets us caught in a loop. So what do we do next? Anyone that some of us have been in this in these sessions together now for almost what 2 years or something, 3 years. I can't remember how long, maybe 2 years. So, what is where do I always go? Now we've addressed the mind and we've addressed the consideration of the mind. And at the same time, there's still something happening here. There's still something happening inside. There's an experience. So what do we do? What do we do? Okay, maybe the story is nonsense, maybe it's not, but I'm caught in this loop and I'm in a lot of pain. What do I do? There's not one answer, but if you've been here with me for a while, you know where my mind goes. What can I do in that moment? There's no right answer, so feel free to share. And even if you haven't been here with me for some time, maybe it's our first time together. I'd love to hear from anyone. What can you do? I see Liz is sharing self-compassion. What can you do in this moment? Diane should acknowledge it and release. I'll just wait a moment in case anyone else feels like sharing. Jason shared pause. Um, I think Victoria is saying, noticing that you're in a story and that it doesn't make you feel good. Yeah, whatever wording works for you. It's about the language that resonates for you, but it's recognizing, oh, I'm in this story and it might not be true at all. And I recognize that thinking about this story and believing it is actually making me feel more upset. And yeah, you can say it. You can. It's not about how often. It's more about really meeting yourself in this intellectual part of the process. So it's in that moment. Okay, that's kind of the first step that we're speaking to. So I see that we've had some shares here about what to do, and what I would do, and it's not maybe what I would do every single time, but in general, I would move into some self compassion, self soothing process because and here's the important thing. And Diane, I see that you said acknowledge it and release, and that's beautiful. And at the same time, I think every one of us knows that sometimes, even if we meet ourselves with compassion or with presence, something doesn't feel like it releases right away. Right? Sometimes we just have to sit with it. We just have to sit with the pain. We just have to sit with the discomfort rather than meeting it, trying to make it go away, because that's actually resistance. Let's say here's this despair in me. So let's say I come along and I'm like, oh, there's despair. And I'm like, oh, I want to be self compassion. Oh, I'm so compassionate. Now get out of here. That actually creates more resistance because the despair is like, I'm here. And the self compassion in disguise is like, get out of here. So that resistance, you could say, is one of the primary sources of our experience of suffering. So when we meet that despair, we hold it, we cradle it. And for some of us, when we meet these feelings, it's almost like we're disgusted. We don't feel the ability to hold it lovingly, but we can, at the very least, sit with it, meaning allow ourselves to feel it in the body. And many of you have heard me say this a million times. This is a great time to practice feel the feelings, drop the story. And for many of us, this is our access out of the loop, off of the loop. When we truly slow down enough to feel the pain without resisting it, judging it, wronging it, trying to get away with it, when we really have the courage to feel it without feeding our minds the stories that keep it in a loop, when we just feel it, and maybe we cry or we scream or we clench our fists, when we feel it from this thoughtful place, that's when it's given permission. That's when we are turning toward ourselves with true compassion, giving it the space to be released whenever that is. Whether that is in 5 minutes because we sat with ourselves in kindness, or maybe the next day it releases. But remember two things. The brain, we have it is in my very limited understanding of this cosmic nature that we are. We experience our emotions in two primary ways. One is biochemically, meaning emotional responses are actually releases from the brain that create different sensations in the body. Biochemicals being released. These are emotions in the physical body. Then we also have an energetic experience of emotions, which we experience in the subtle anatomy, which are the energetic bodies around us. So in the brain, an emotional response, therefore in the body, only lasts 90 seconds. Just get that, For those of us who love to stir in our emotions, an emotional response only lasts for 90 seconds. Think about that. That means that your mind is re-triggering that emotional response over and over and over and over, flooding your beautiful, precious body with all of these different biochemicals and stress hormones. And the mind isn't bad at all. The mind is a beautiful thing. But for most of us, the mind is untrained, essentially. It's like a wild animal. And so we train the mind to move in the direction that serves us best. And that takes time and it's not always totally accessible, but we work with it. So I'm going to pause there for a moment. Um, Thank you all so much for sharing your thoughts on all of that. And just to kind of recap from our Victoria's original question here, how to get out of the mental loop. Question your mind. Recognize that the story you're telling yourself may not be true and probably isn't, even though it might make sense or seem rational. And regardless of whether or not the story you're telling yourself is true, recognize it's not making you feel any better or any more clear. And as best as you can, bring your awareness into your body. Feel where those emotions seem present. Maybe there's tension or heaviness or tightness, and breathe with those feelings. Give yourself permission to feel. And for anyone who's unfamiliar with it, I have a meditation here on the app called the self-soothing practice, I believe, self-soothing practice. And that's a guide to bring us into being able to really feel with this non-judgment and curiosity, and just really truly though going into the feeling without dissociating in the mind. And then we just feel we meet ourselves with presence, to the best of our ability. Feel the feelings, drop the story again and again. Feel the feelings, drop the story. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Okay. Carolyn's asking if I can repost the meditation on Insight Timer. Yes, we're here on Insight Timer, right? Yes. Um, I have a meditation, an older version of this. I think it's called Connect and Create Your Day, maybe. Connect and Create Your Day. And that is a version of this meditation, a little bit shorter, where we move into connecting with this inner wisdom and then we visualize our lives from that place. And because we had such a rich conversation here, I might be able to repost this in audio form. So I'll see about doing that as well. But in the meantime, Connect and Create Your Day is the name of the meditation that I have here on the app that we did today. All right, beloveds. Any last shares before we start to come to a completion? Thank you, Victoria, for asking such a really important question. It's something that we can all relate to. So thank you for bringing that. I'll just wait a few more moments in case anyone's taking a moment to type. Oh, thanks, Jason. And I saw your emoji. Glad you learned something new today, or